Okay, I think we are ready to start pretty soon. Still people coming in, so let's give it a minute and then we'll get going. Okay, welcome to this webinar on the HubSpot Service Hub. I think we still have a few people coming in, but I think let's get going on this time. So first of all, welcome to you all for participating in this session on how to nail customer success with the reinvention of a HubSpot Service Hub, and what that means. We'll get into a lot more detail in the next 45 minutes, at least I hope so. But first of all, I think it would be a good idea to do a little housekeeping, and that is telling a little about what is this manufacturing HubSpot user group and what is the purpose of it. As a member, and you are a member just by signing up, you are hopefully in for learnings inside HubSpot and the inbound driven successes within marketing, sales, and service. And it's practically a place where we want to share practices where we can support your growth journey. And basically, it's also your chance to meet fellow inbounders. I think it's also important to say that this user group is community-led. It's a non-commercial initiative we're running here. So we are following the principles of the HubSpot user groups. So that said, a little about myself. My name is Lars, and I'm senior advisor here at Helium B2B. I've been working on the HubSpot platform for just over 10 years now and working with inbound strategies for B2B companies. I'm a HubSpot certified trainer and a leader of this user group. That said, if you have any questions during the session, we will have a Q&A possibility at the end. But if you have something specific, we have Sina in the background. She'll be controlling the chat. So if you have any questions during the session, feel welcome to key them into the chat function. Then she will follow up on that. So let's get going. If we look at what HubSpot is trying and how you could, I guess, in general terms, look at a company, we have kind of a marketing department, we have the sales department, and then we have this very important department around existing customers, being customer service. And I guess we could outline customer service to be covering 3 different grounds. You have customer service managers to focus on retaining and growing your existing customer base. We have service specialists that are keen to look at the very specific requests and problem customers may have. And then we have support representatives that try to resolve day-to-day issues. On the right of this slide, you also see what is known as a flywheel. You have attracting new customers, you have engaging them, and then you have delighting existing customers, and ultimately grow people by that flywheel. We will focus on some parts of the delight stage today. We will look on ways on onboarding new customers where we use the HubSpot platform. We will try to see how we can activate their engagement via your products, the products you sell, the services you sell. We will also try to look at how we can retaining customers for the longer term, and basically grow the relationship. Within this process, we have a three-step approach to handle issues. As you see, deflect, triage, resolve. We'll get into details on them a little later and how we can act on them. The first one is basically to try to prevent common issues to go through a human interaction. So we try to self-service as best possible. One example is knowledge bases. Triage is trying to access and prioritize the incoming request, who should get what. And basically, the last one is resolve, to address and solve customer problems as efficiently as you can. And that is what we're going to look at. That we're going to look into those items today, where we try to look at this integrated approach, but actively working to retain and grow the customer relationship. I will switch, I hope, with success between the slides and our demo portal, so we'll also have a chance to look into this in real life, so to speak. So I hope that will work during the session. We will also, during this, and I think you will see that, look into some of the new things HubSpot presented at the Inbound conference here, basically a few days ago, where AI was very much in focus. Probably not a surprise, but now we have a chance to look into that in more details. Okay, if we look at the background of all this is numbers from a global survey HubSpot did here this year, where they basically asked sales team on how they generated revenue in their company. And 72% of these companies tell that the revenue comes from existing customers, and about 28% comes from new customers. So I'm sure you have seen similar numbers in different surveys, but let's think about this for a moment, because that also means that the existing customer base is a very important base for growing revenue. It's no surprise, but sometimes we also need to focus on the tools and the processes we need to facilitate to do this. You could imagine how much you could achieve if your customer services agent started to take basically a more sales-like role. Instead of answering questions and handling complaints, they could actively solve problems. So basically keep customers happy. So we'll try to go into these strategies and tactics with a focus on where the HubSpot Service Hub is today and what we can see will be in the future. And you basically can look at that yourself if you're not aware, because HubSpot has this page where you can see what is the intent, what are they planning to work on platform-wise, both right now and in the coming month. So I'm not going through this. I just wanted to show that it's actually a part of a page called hubspot.com/new. And at the bottom of that page, you'll see a lot of stuff here. But at the bottom of the page, you actually get a product roadmap. So if you have any questions on what is the direction of the platform, I would recommend you also to have a look at this page, as it is updated regularly. So please use that for your own inspiration and getting an idea where the platform is headed. Today, we will look at what we could call customer success tools, and look at what I at least believe is some of the main developments in the Service Hub of HubSpot. It is the usage of product usage data, your own data. It is No surprise, AI support. We'll get a little more into that during this session. And then it's the concept of workspaces, which is a pretty new concept inside the HubSpot portal, which I personally find very intriguing that we're going to dive into specifics today: the help desk workspace and the customer success workspace. So that is what I hope we can cover today in this session. If we then look at those three main topics I mentioned, processes we are in general using in customer service, then let's focus on these three: the onboarding process, the activation process, and the retention process. Let's start with the onboarding. It's number one, at least here. So let's do that. Onboarding is basically the first meet with a new customer inside the organization. So sales has made the contract, and it's now transferred to a service department, or whatever you call it inside your company. So here we can look at different ways we can handle this. In HubSpot Service Hub before, I would say the main focus was to have a ticket process. So if you look inside your existing HubSpot portal, you have the option of creating tickets, you have the option of creating pipelines for these tickets, and it's for the most part promoted to be a tool for service tickets, right? But we can definitely use this for other processes. And one area we can see is very successful in using tickets is the onboarding process. So
Lars, sorry,
yeah.
I just have to interrupt you. We cannot see the presentation. We're still on the...
Thank you.
Great.
So that's the typical mistake when you have when you have multiple tabs. Sorry for that. So we are back on the slide here. Sorry for that. So we can also use tickets for managing the onboarding process. So we can use the fundamental existing HubSpot Service Hub tools. So we can use this inside the HubSpot, the service teams. So we can basically build up an onboarding pipeline inside tickets, as well as we can do any service pipeline inside tickets. So if you haven't used this earlier, I would definitely recommend that you look into this. So we can move customers through a preset process or pipeline, and I will try to show you an example of this very quickly. We could have a form somewhere inside your HubSpot portal, and we could give people, the salespeople, basically a signal here that this person now is part of the company as customer, and now we need to perform some kind of training to them in the coming time. So let's fill that out, and when we have done that, we could move over to our pipeline. I just did it yesterday as well, just to be sure it worked. And then we have applied for an onboarding process. This process we can then build up inside our pipeline here within tickets. So you could basically do any process here inside the ticket area of HubSpot and build that process up. So here you have an example of applied for onboarding. You just saw this person coming in, onboarding accepted by a support person. The foundation is set. So you have the full training of this new customer. And the great thing about this, we can automate a lot of this then in the background via HubSpot workflows. We can generate workflows that auto-generate emails to the trainee, results of the training. We can do reporting as we can do traditionally in HubSpot. So there's a lot of different options here to utilize the existing tools already available in the platform. So I would definitely recommend that you have a look at this. That can be a really great trigger for for different onboarding processes, and we can ensure that people are properly onboarded in a standardized way. I guess that's one of the most important thing in business in general today, is the more we can standardize our processes, the more factory-like we can do them, the more efficient we can also handle these processes. And onboarding is very, very important, because some of the numbers in the report I mentioned earlier also mentioned this as an important factor of retaining customers in the future. So a great welcome is always the best start to a long relationship. Cool. I hope that gave you some ideas on how we can handle this. You can, as I said, also build in automations within the process, so we can build a workflow that does different things, assign them to a specific person, what we normally would do in a workflow environment inside HubSpot. So there's a lot of freedom to build for your specific needs here. Then I need to remember to go back here, right, Signe? As said, then we can also do reporting, how many people are on an onboarding process at this very moment, how is it faring, all that stuff we can surround these processes well. I hope that gives you some idea on the possibilities of onboarding. And if you have any questions, as said, feel free to ask. I will quickly go on with the next phase, where we look at adoption and activation. I do not have the capability today inside the demo portal to actually give you a live demo of that, but let's go through what the idea is here. For many systems and many products you're selling in B2B, also in manufacturing, we often have both a hardware part and we have a software part. And if we have the possibility to actually measure on the software part and get that data inside the service process, we have a possibility to measure activation. That could be the idea of, when we know this software part is activated, then we know the customer is at a specific step in the adoption of the product. We know how far they are in the process. We could probably also do it on some parts of hardware. And some of the ways of doing this is to utilize custom events inside HubSpot. Custom Events API is basically an API that tells HubSpot something has happened in another system outside your HubSpot portal. So that can be very, very interesting in activating. And I think I have a tab on that as well. If you will bear with me, I think I have it here somewhere. Let's see. Yeah. So basically what custom events is doing is that you can send data via the API, and that can then create a process within your HubSpot portal. And that custom event can then be used to activate workflows and also reporting. So you have some good ideas on how people are managing this. You can definitely use that for things like, when did they last log into our system? When did they last actually use the tools they are supported with? And maybe also especially what tools are they mostly engaged with? So this is an existing feature of HubSpot, and can support your customers and you to increase revenue and retention. Custom events are defined within your account, so it's a very, very specific thing for your process. We could, for example, build a custom event that captures a certain action inside your account and customer service managers can then know this, that can be used in the process of activating the customer in the best way. So just an idea, this can be a really, really cool tool for activating customers. And as said, if you want to look into more of that, look at this link or just search for create custom events and see if that can actually be a great help for you in measuring what is happening. I think that's one of the main challenges we often have, is the capability to know what the customer is actually doing and at what states they're in inside the process. I can see we have something in the chat. No, I think that was just seen. Sorry for that. You'll handle that. Cool. I hope that gave you some idea. We can then, sorry. Yes, I just wanted to be sure I'm on the right page. So as you can see here, we have the customer success area of HubSpot, where you can then look at the different events that is happening, and we can start getting an idea of the status of that customer at this very moment. I think I have the possibility to show that as well, if you will bear with me. If we go over here, you now see we have the different workspaces inside the portal. And so we have one for the sales that was called leads a few months ago, but it's now a sales space. We have the help desk space, and then the workspace we're talking about right now, customer success. So if you want to look at them, you will have them up here inside the portal. Cool. So the good thing about, and I need to go back here, sorry for that. There we are. So here we can use the customer workspace that specifically look at helping the customer service representative in getting the data they need in their situation. We also had, as said, this completely new workspace for the help desk. And I guess the best way to explain what the help desk is compared to what you had before is that it's basically a combination of what was the inbox and what was the ticket workspace. They're still there, but this is trying to combine those so it focuses on giving full help on the people working on tickets. So you basically have that in one place. And I guess I can go over here and you will, if we start from scratch, I just want to be sure we're on the right page. We are. Here you can see those two last tickets I put in. I can give you a view here inside the inbox, as you can see. So they're kind of combined here to make this process a bit easier to handle. Now there's no conversation of this because I just ordered that I wanted somebody inside the onboarding process. One thing you may note here that is kind of new for a lot of areas inside HubSpot is if the Breeze, as it's called now, the AI engine inside HubSpot, I'll come back to that a little later. You can look at an area like this. So where you see that the portal is AI-wise generating an overview of this specific ticket, what has happened with this ticket during a phase. So you can see this is created at today. It was assigned to this person inside whatever pipeline. And so you basically get an overview of what has happened with this ticket, which is really, really cool, I think, if you're working in a help desk environment, working on tickets, and you need to work on a ticket that somebody else has worked on before. So here you have a really, really good chance to get a great overview and get a good start from the data that is available inside the portal. So I think this is a great way of handling tickets in a little new way by combining inbox and sorry, the ticket space. So use cases for this, I would say, is for what we could call the reactive support teams. They now have a home, the space to efficiently manage customer queries real time. So we still have the possibility to use the different channels as you've had before, by sending via email, via chat, via WhatsApp, all the different channels HubSpot is already supporting. So that's the help desk. You can still do routing, and I should also mention on the routing, meaning who should actually work on the specific ticket. Now you can also do that based on who's the right person to solve a specific problem. So this more specific type of routing is also possible now within the system. So we ensure a ticket is handled by the right person. By the way, when you go back and look at the slides in this presentation, you will know I have some notes on the license type from HubSpot. So this is an option that is live today. It's on the HubSpot Pro licenses for Service Hub and on the enterprise licenses. You will see this around in these slides if you want to revisit this at a later time. If we look at the area of deflection, which kind of maybe is a negative word, but I think you get the point that we want to self-service people in the best way possible. Then this was called AI chatbot earlier, but after inbound, it's now called the customer agent. And for the test we have been doing, it looks really, really promising. The basic idea of the chatbot here, the customer agent, is that if you supply it with good knowledge, and a good example of that could be an FAQ, you have a lot of articles that describe the different problems or issues or how different ways to handle something. If they give the bot access to that, it will read through that and it will use that in the answers it's actually showing to the customer. So the bot can actually auto respond based on the data you already have. It works in live chat. The biggest limitation at the moment is it only works in English. And I think I can show you here just an example of what you definitely could test out here when you have access to this option inside Service Hub. That is, you basically need these two tabs here. You need to tell it what content it should work on. So basically here I've just given it some websites to look at. You would normally also look at your existing knowledge base and select that up here, but you can go directly to specific URLs. And then it will read through that, and then you can build a bot around that. And this is just the basic journal thing. So I basically should be able to ask it something: who works at Helion? Maybe not a service question, but you get the point. And hopefully I'll get a great answer on that. It will look through the data and it gives me some information on people who are working. This would basically work the same way in a service article environment where you give it the data there on the different specific problems and the different FAQ articles. This is in beta at the moment, and it's available also in the starter, so it's definitely something most HubSpot users can test out already now. Again, we've done some preliminary tests, and it looks promising, I would say, and can really be a help in building something up that just a half a year ago was kind of a complicated thing to do by hand. If you look at triage and resolve issues, you will see, and it's a private beta, I'm not able to show it at this very moment, but the basic idea is more or less the same, but here the suggestions will be inside your company. So here it will give the support reps recommendations on how could you actually compose an answer to this person based on current knowledge inside your FAQ. So if you develop your knowledge base, it will also automatically add that information to this. You can get access to this beta. I think it's still a private beta via this page. If you are interested, then definitely have a look at that, because that's also an interesting way to use basically the same facilities on supporting information and using AI to give you some great help in getting answers quickly and efficiently to the customer. And again, trained on the same material based, trained on your knowledge base. Another part of this is then, and you've already seen that, is the conversation summaries. It was actually shown here in a different way, but is now in this panel I showed you before. I think it was here, wasn't it? Yes, here, where you see the ticket summary here. Again, a basic idea you'll see spread all over the platform. So here again, a great help in helping you getting the best information out to the specific person working on the problem. And this is available on all licenses within HubSpot. So you will see this, as I said, spread more and more over inside the platform. Retention. As we talked about, most revenue, existing and future revenue, is based on the current customer base. So how do we keep our customers engaged? Here again, the customer success workspace is very, very important. The idea of these workspaces is to give the customer service representative a dedicated workspace. So just as sales has got their own dedicated workspace, we now also have it for customer service people, which I find very intriguing. So they basically get a great idea on how their business book looks and who should they focus on, who's important, who should be maybe could wait a little to get the answer. And you can do this again to report on the usage of manpower within the customer service organization. In this workspace, the customer service representative, they'll get information on what are the daily tasks. It will allow them to create custom views of the most important segments, and it can help them monitor activities from all these different key accounts they're working with. So they have one place to look at instead of you basically need to go from page to page to gather all this information. As said, and I'm just going back here. As said, we have the workspaces up here. I'm sure there will probably be more in the coming month that dedicates to different personalities and functions within the company. But this is the basic setup of the environment within the workspace, and you can then decide on what parts you want to have in different areas. You can look at the portfolio, who are you working with, and you can look at the pipeline, what is the focus here. And so basically, I think this is a really, really great way to have one place that I have as my center for the customers I'm working with on the moment, on this very moment. Okay, let's look a little on here at the end before I hope we get some time to have a little Q&A. Let's look a little on the things we have that is related to the inbound conference that happened in Boston here some few days ago. And it was quite clear that a lot of that was AI centered. I guess no surprise. HubSpot has been working on AI for quite some time. Some of you have maybe tried the ChatSpot AI Copilot product for some time, and that product is now a direct part of your portal. So if you have activated it, you now have the option of using Copilot all over the platform. I'm just going to one of the pages here, and you will see it up here. So if you click here, you will see what it has actually done, and what different prompts you have the possibility to use. So I'm not going to do this as a specific demo of this, just saying now Copilot is part of the product, meaning you can also utilize it to help you generate emails, generate ideas, searching your knowledge base, getting information of a specific company you're working with. There's all the different standard prompts that you also had in ChatSpot. They're now part of this. I guess the most important thing now is now it's integrated inside your HubSpot portal, making it so much easier to have this virtual assistant working for you in a day-to-day basis. And I guess that is typical usage of AI nowadays. One of the more exciting things, I'm not saying this is not exciting, but that is the usage of agents. And I think the whole idea of AI agents is really, really intriguing. The purpose of an AI agent is to be solving a very, very specific problem. And you can say the Copilot, the prompt environment, is an environment that can try to solve many generic problems by using generic prompts. This one is built for a specific purpose. So you're basically trying to automate manual tasks, and it will work for you for a specific matter. One example of that was exactly the customer agent, where it had that specific usage of being able to find data in your knowledge base and present it inside a chatbot. But if we look a little on what is existing at this very moment inside the portal, you can go down here, and if you've activated the Breeze part of all the updates from HubSpot, you now have different agents available. I have only activated 2 at this moment in this portal, but there is actually existing 4 agents at this very moment, and you see them down here. We have the customer agent. That was the one I just showed you earlier today. We have the content agent, which is really, really intriguing. That can help you generate content. It can help you remix content, so you can maybe have a blog post to start from, and then generating different mixes of that content, being for an ad, being for an email, being for an image, etc., etc. So there's a lot of options there. We also see now an agent for sales prospecting, and we also see a specific agent for working with social media. This is not the end of this, obviously. We will definitely see a number of new agents coming here in the coming month. I'm definitely sure on that, and I think we'll probably focus on this in a later session because it has already been stated from HubSpot at the conference in Boston that this can definitely end, and we can build our own agents for our specific purposes and for our specific needs. So I think this is an area that is really intriguing and hopefully can help making our processes also within service really, really structured and very professional, and give the best answers possible for our customer base. So that is about AI. We'll definitely go into more in that area later. Just mention there's actually a third part of the Breeze AI. We have the Copilot doing the prompting. We have the agents solving specific tasks. And then we have what HubSpot is calling Breeze Intelligence, which is a fully new data enrichment environment where AI is working on finding the best data they can around the world about companies, could be sizes, industries, revenue, yearly revenue, all the standard data, but also more specific data. And they also have the same for contacts. I think we'll go into that in a later session, because that can also be very, very helpful inside a service environment. I just made this slide because I think for service, the customer agent is really, really the thing I would recommend you to look at, if that could be an interesting addition to the way you're working today with your customer service agents. The intriguing part is that it's really, really fast to set up. To be honest, I think that has been one of the biggest pains in any AI setup. It can be quite complicated to set up. And it seems with these quick setups that the quality is pretty decent in what it's doing. So I think that this is really an area that can be very interesting for a lot of companies in the service organization. It is based on your data, so you can make the voice fit what is good for your company and what the way you want to react to customers. And it's only based on approved content. So we will also try to eliminate the ever-existing problem of made-up information in any LLM-based AI engine, which is, I guess, a story for itself. We can cite our own sources with confidence. And I think that's really fantastic and interesting thing for future service processes. We can handle routine queries, and we can also routing complex issues then to your team. So this engine should be capable of, if it works for you, handling the self-service part, and if it's not capable of that, transferring it to the right representative to get the problem or the issue solved. And again, we have all the insights inside the portal on how this is handled during the process. Final advice before the end. I would definitely recommend that you at all time look at the updates from HubSpot. You can go inside this product update part of HubSpot. I have to admit, I'm probably in there every day, but this gives you a very good idea of what is happening inside the portal. You can look at the different apps and then only search for those updates. But as you can see, this is running fast with new things happening more or less every day at the moment, especially here in the autumn up to the conference part, and especially, of course, about AI. So you can easily go in and have a look at what is available for service, if I only want to look at that, and give you some idea on what is happening in that area. So if you're not aware of this option already, I would definitely recommend that you have a look on that. I would also recommend you that if you want to get some ideas of what has happened here at the conference, and you will see a lot of information inside this part. You will see a lot of information on what Breeze actually is and how it can perform, and maybe explain better than I can today. So you have a really good idea of what is happening on the platform today. So that is on the /spotlight page of the HubSpot website. That was my quick run through of, by the way, the Breeze AI bot, of what I think is important inside the Service Hub, what can be utilized in your organization, hopefully in your manufacturing IT organization, and how you can make your ticket operations more efficient, how you can make your customer service representatives more efficient in their daily work with your customers, and hopefully help you in retaining customers and ensuring better revenue in the future. I think that was all I had to say today. So if there's any questions in the chat, Signe, then I will happily try to answer them. And if that's not the case, that's definitely also okay. It has been a pleasure to be able to give you some presentation of what has happened on the Service Hub specifically. Also with this new AI perspective, I hope we have given you some ideas on how to implement and use these processes and features in a structured way within your organization. So I would say thank you for today. And if you have any ideas of other topics you want to run through in the future, just feel free to contact us. We will definitely look into that and will happily try to communicate with you to get the right ideas presented here, so we have the best form possible for all of us. So with that said, thank you for today, and have a continued great day. Bye-bye.